Mornings with Jaresha is a radio show and podcast here to equip, empower, and elevate you to the next level by helping you win your mornings and win your day with inspiration and motivation so you can wake, slay, pray, and take action. Today is a fabulous day to be great, have great, and do great. You just have to be willing to unleash your greatness and take action. This show is for everyone from all walks of life who just simply want to feel empowered and motivated to take the next step. Now, let's get it, let's go. Mornings with Jaresha begins now.
And welcome back to the Mornings with Jaresha show. So I am so happy to be back, and I have so much to share with everyone. See, this time has taught me so much. And so I'm so ready to share all of the nuggets with each and every one of you so that it helps. And really, my goal is to empower you so that you can execute on your goals, your dreams, and walking into your purpose. So, like I say every single show, let's get it, let's go. Do you know that I have absolutely, and when I say absolutely, I have absolutely missed that part and saying, let's execute on our goals, dreams, and walking into our purpose, and let's get it, let's go. Because it is the whole entire truth and nothing but the truth. But if you've been tuning in, you know that with some of the last episodes, I should say, I have been doing this breakfast breakdown. And as I've shared, I am absolutely loving the breakfast breakdown. So it is time for the breakfast breakdown. And so the breakfast breakdown is really where I share what I'm learning, what I'm loving, and what is making me feel empowered. And so to kick it off, what I am learning is I am learning how important it is to love and value yourself. Because more often than not, other people won't value you or know your worth. So if we are walking around thinking that we're not good enough or we're not worthy enough, people will agree with you by the way that they treat you and how they interact with you. So basically, it's actions and behaviors, not just of the other people that we interact with, but also yourself. And so I had a very, very challenging fourth quarter last year that taught me some very important lessons about who I was, who I am now, who I am connected to, and most importantly, who I am going to be in the future, who I am, not just who I am, but what I am going to do about it in the future. And so it's with that new discovery that I learned, and I'm learning so much. So if you've been keeping up with the episodes, I did an episode back in August and have talked about, talked about this after in other episodes about this, this becoming journey. And when I tell you that every day I'm learning more about becoming. And so as we go through challenges, as we go through the storms of life, it is an opportunity for us to discover and learn more about who we are, who we were. And that has been probably the most, eye-opening thing for me is, and so I say who I was because there were some things that I had to eliminate, some things that I learned about myself that I had to make changes. And so when we do that, I feel like we step into a new version of ourselves. And so that's what I had to do. And if we can be honest, maybe that's something that you have to do as well. Or maybe you've been on this journey with me and you've already done it in your own life. And so when I tell you it is so deep, y'all, it's so deep that I'm more than likely going to do, like, it needs its own show. So I'm going to do just a show on that and how my fourth quarter was. Because if you tune in to Mornings with Jaresha or Empower Hour with Jaresha, I started off last year talking about how this is our year to win, 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 win. And I really called it like the Jordan year. And don't get me wrong, there were lots of wins, but there were also a lot of lessons. And I'm still reflecting on the many things that I learned, and not just how I learned, but the action that I took and the action that I'm taking. So I'm gonna save, all of those nuggets for its own show. And I know that I'm going to actually do it as a crossover to where it's on this show as well as the Empower Hour with Jarisha show. But what I am loving, what I'm loving right now is the space of being unapologetically me. And that means showing up as my authentic self. You see, sometimes as women and as men, we struggle because we're trying to still figure out who we are. And so let me tell you, as we go through the discovery and realize who you are, what you're capable of, so it's your power. And once you step into the unstoppable version of you, you no longer care about what other people say. You no longer settle for anything or anyone that doesn't serve who you are, doesn't serve your purpose. And although sometimes it's a hard pill to swallow, and I know we all know, because I feel like as life just continues to life for us, life is out here lifing. But as it continues to just life, and we're going through life in the trials, in the storms, and the many obstacles and the challenges, I mean, everything that comes along with, just this life. And that's why we say life is out here lifing, because it truly is for each and every one of us. But know that it's a beautiful thing to get to a point where there is no other option but to let your greatness shine. And in that there's always going to be tough decisions that we must make for our greatness to win and have that victory. So during this time, I am loving, I am loving it. I'm loving it. I'm loving even what is challenging me. I'm loving how um, I am, again, going back to that becoming, and it's through that self discovery. I am loving the storms that's happening in my life and what it's creating and really birthing in me. And as I'm going through this journey, I am documenting, I'm reflecting, I am embracing, I am empowering through this process. And I think that a lot of us, we, as we go through this journey, I'm not going to sit here and make it seem like it's always rainbows and roses. Like, oh, as I have a challenge that I'm faced with, I'm just pulling out my checklist. Like, this is how, my process, this is how you handle challenges. No, because as those challenges, as those storms come, we always have the emotions that's tied to it, right? We have those emotions that's attached to it that we have to process through, that we have to deal with. And maybe I know at least for myself, so I can't speak for everyone, but as I've dealt with other challenges in my life, I learn each time so that I'm responding in the way that one, it's not going to stress me out. One, I'm responding and reacting in a way that if I can't control it, why am I giving so much energy to it? If it's something I can't control and take action, then guess what? I'm going to spring into action. But I feel like as we go through life, as we go through those challenges, as we truly become and step into that highest version of ourselves, there's always going to be those storms that's going to teach us. It's up to us to see it as lessons. It's up to us to see it as lessons. And then when that next storm, that next challenge comes, we should not respond and act in the same way that we did from the previous one. So I'm loving this space of being unapologetically me and not caring what people say, what people think, because when you recognize what's in you, when you recognize your greatness, it truly empowers you. So I'm feeling empowered through this process, which brings me to what is really empowering me. And as the person who loves empowering others, I always look for ways to empower myself even in those times that I really just, want to do nothing, like those times that I really just want to sit on the couch, maybe binge watch, and just do nothing. And don't get me wrong, there are times in our lives when we need exactly that, when we need to just be able to sit down and do nothing, and maybe to binge watch, to have time with your girls or, go out with your boys, to sit by yourself and just think. And I am really feeling empowered to make those decisions and be okay and make those decisions, without, uh, without any kind of reservations, to make those decisions and really know that this is what I need, to make those decisions and not feel bad about it. So to me, that is me really being in tune with what I need and what I feel and the action that is needed, which is truly empowering me to do like the self-care, to sit down and rest, to exercise, to do what needs to be done. Because if we listen to our bodies tell us exactly what we need to hear and what we need to do, which to me is such a beautiful and awesome thing and really just speaks to the volumes of of how God has created each and every one of us. So that is your breakfast breakdown for today. And I really felt the need to really speak and talk about what you hear each and every show for today's show. So you hear my voice welcoming you, of course, after the music and everything, after the intro plays. But I really want to hone in on what you hear me say in the intro, what you hear me say each and every show. Now, whether you choose to listen to it or skip through it, each and every show, I am saying what this show is designed to do. And truly, it's all about empowering. But I start off with saying that the Mornings with Jaresha show is here to equip, empower, and elevate you. to the next level by helping you win your mornings and win your day with inspiration and motivation so you can wake, pray, slay, and take action. Today is a fabulous day to be great, have great, and do great. You just have to be willing to unleash your greatness and take action. So this show is for everyone, all walks of life, who just simply want to feel empowered and motivated to take the next step. And so let's go back a little bit. Let's go back to where I say equip, empower, and elevate you to the next level. And let's just stop right there. I want to stop right there because I want you to think about where you are right now in your journey, maybe in your career, in your life, and think about where you want to be and ask yourself, do I feel equipped? Do I feel empowered? Do I feel equipped and empowered to elevate to the next level? Now, if that answer is yes, then I'm going to absolutely high five you, congratulate you, because that to me says that you are doing the work, connecting with who you need to connect with in order to elevate yourself to the next level. But if the answer is no, I really want you to not just move past that question, but I really want you to understand the action that is required for you to feel equipped. Because to me, that is a self check. That is a self check question. That is a question of your belief in yourself. That is a question that you need to really hone in on. That's a question that you need to dive in deeper and be willing to have that discovery with yourself. It's so interesting to me because, at times when we're listening to podcasts or, listening to radio shows and questions are asked, many of us, one, maybe in our cars, we may be in a place where we can't really write down things. But I want to encourage you today that as you hear questions, as you hear those nuggets that are shared with you, not just on this show, but on other shows, that you take a moment to actually write it down, and not just write it down, but take action on it. We have to be willing to take action. And so if you're not feeling equipped, I'm going to ask you to ask yourself why. Why don't you feel equipped? Is it because you don't believe in yourself? Is it because, you're thinking, I'm not good enough? Why don't you feel equipped right now in your life? And not just that, but with where you're trying to go, because that was the first question. Remember, looking at where you're at now and then where you're trying to go. Do you feel equipped to be able to move in a position to be where you're trying to be? Why do you not feel equipped? Is it a fear that's keeping you? Is it doubt that's keeping you? Is it the limiting beliefs that is keeping you from being, doing, and having what you want in life? When I look back at my life and I see how I was truly equipped for everything that I was called to do. But I had to realize my greatness. I had to realize I had everything I needed within me. And I needed to stop looking outside myself to understand my gifts, my talents, and what God had already blessed me with. You see, we get too caught up in looking around as someone else and thinking that we need what they have in order for us to be who God has called us to be. When truthfully, when we're looking at someone else and thinking that we need to have what they have, that is in order us for to be who they are, not be ourselves. So first and foremost, we have to go through that discovery to understand where we are so that we can feel equipped. And I'm telling you, I am here to tell you that no ma'am and no sir, It is not true that you have to go somewhere else to feel equipped. You have everything that you need inside of you. Some say you are resourceful. Some say you have greatness within you. Just know that you have everything. Everything that you need within you. And so it then becomes we have to start controlling the narrative. So since you control the narrative and what you're speaking to others and what you're speaking to yourself, when are you going to stop telling yourself that you're not good enough, that you don't deserve it, that you can't do it, that there's too many things, there's too many factors, there's too many things and too many excuses? When are you going to stop that narrative to yourself? And many of us may not say it out loud, but know that our actions speak for us. Because anytime you're not walking into your power that is within you, anytime you're not walking into your power that is within you, means you have some doubts. And what does doubts do in our lives? It keeps us from making moves and taking action. It keeps us from making moves and taking action. Anytime, look over the course of your life, anytime that you've had doubts about something, what action did you take? It keeps you in your head. It keeps you from making moves and taking action. So know that you are equipped. And if you think you're not, it's time for you to do the work. And as Myron Golden says, it's time for you to stop fighting for your limitations, which means you are fighting for your doubts. You're fighting for mediocrity. You're fighting for the loss. You're fighting for your fears to win. You're fighting against your greatness instead of fighting for your greatness. And let me just say this, if you don't know who Myron is, look him up and know that you'll be glad you did. So the question is, do you feel equipped? Do you feel empowered to elevate to the next level? There have been so many times in my life where I didn't feel equipped and I didn't feel empowered. But let me tell you, I did not sit around and say, you know what? I'm going to let these doubts win. I'm going to keep fighting for my limitations. No, I started a self-discovery of knowing who I was and what I was good at, what challenged me, and the actions that I needed to take. And I'm here to tell you today because I want to empower you so that you get it, and you take action. Now, since I've started this show, every single episode you hear me talk about executing on your goals, your dreams, and walking into your purpose. And do you think I'm just saying that just to be saying it? I truly hope that as you've listened, that you are doing the work for yourself. You know, it's so funny how we want so much to happen to us. We want so much to happen for us, but we're not willing to invest if we're not willing to invest the energy, we're not willing to invest the time, we're not willing to invest the resources in order for it to happen. We're not willing to do the work. We have to execute on what needs to be done. You have to execute on what you need to do. And many of us know what it is that we need to do. We're just not doing it. Now, that completely blows my mind to know what you need to do and not do it at all. Yet, we complain about where we are and how we're not moving, how we feel stuck. And this is where I say we need to be connected to other people. We definitely need to be connected to other people. So maybe this, this empower talk is what you actually needed and didn't know you needed. And so I'm happy to do that for you, but only if you can tell me right now that you will do the work. That you can tell me right now that you won't keep listening to pod after pod, but you will start taking action and doing what you need to do. Only if you can tell me right now, and most importantly, tell yourself that you won't keep doing what you're doing, especially if it's not working for you. How many times do we have to keep running into the door before we realize we need to open the door to walk through it? And I feel like right now, so many of us are walking and running into the door over and over and over and over again. And if we can be completely honest, we're walking and running to this door with our hands filled up with stuff, filled up with toxic relationships, with our hands filled up with all kinds of pain that we haven't dealt with, processed through. Our hands are filled with doubt, filled with fear. And so we don't even have the enough, we have so much that we're carrying that by the time we get to that door, all we can do is run into it because we don't even have an empty hand to be able to open that door. So, what I'm saying to you today is I really hope that it empowers you. It empowers you to do the work and realize that if you keep hitting that door, you got to do something different. If you keep getting stuck, you have to do something different. If you're in the same place that you were a year ago, 2 years ago, 3 years ago, 4, 5 years ago, you need to do something different. When are you going to get that? When are you going to realize that things are happening? We're stuck. We're hitting that door because of our lack of belief in ourselves. And just as I said, because of the fact that we're fighting for limitations instead of for victory or fighting for our greatness. Now, wouldn't it be so great if we would put the same energy into fighting for our greatness, fighting for our purpose? And when I say fighting, it's not giving up. It's continuing to push through, push forward, despite the obstacles, despite all the times that you may get knocked down. You get back up, you keep pushing forward. We are so quick and willing to just throw in the towel too soon. Too soon. We give up way too easily. So we need to continue this conversation. And so for the rest of the week, this is where we are. This is where we are. And this is where I'm going to, continue looking at this and looking at it piece by piece, because it's important for us to understand this. It's so important from just my reflection of all of the fourth quarter of last year to now being in a new year and knowing that it's time to stop playing games. It's time for you to stop playing games. We know what we need to do, and most of us are listening to pods and radio. Like, we're listening to shows, we're watching YouTube, and we know what we need to do. Some of us may be even writing things down, yet there's no action tied to it. And I believe that with this show and the nuggets that I share, I hope that it is going to empower you to really jump and spring into action. Last year was a great year. It was an absolutely amazing year for this show, for my other show. And truly, I am speaking, I am affirming, I am believing that this year is going to be the year that we all stop playing games and start taking action. And so I encourage you to keep listening. If this is your first time listening, come on back. There's other episodes that you can tune in that I truly hope it empowers you to take the action as I'm talking about. So I hope you're ready. I hope you're ready to execute on your goals, your dreams, and walking into your purpose. Let's get it.
Let's go. Thank you for listening to the Mornings with Jaresha show. Follow me on all social media platforms: Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, and YouTube at Jaresha Moore. Email Jaresha at empoweredonpurpose.com and text 937-938-6373. And have a great day on purpose.